Okay, so this lesson about the concept of karma in Buddhism. Now, karma is something that it could be spelled Karma as well, as you can see in the red box on the side there. So karma is, in one level, it very simply means actions. Okay, so good karma, good actions; bad karma, bad actions. And it shows that basically actions have consequences. So Buddhism talks a lot about skillful actions and unskillful actions, and it's whether this action is moving you in the direction of suffering or whether it's moving you in the direction of happiness. Now, if it's moving in the direction of suffering, then it's an unskillful action. If it's happiness, it's going to be a skillful action. Um, so now, what's different about Buddhism to Christianity is that in Christianity, if you do bad things, you are going to be punished by God and you will be sent to hell or at least kicked out of heaven or that kind of thing. But in Buddhism, it's not about being punished by somebody. It's okay. It actually is that in one sense, you are either being rewarded yourself or you are being punished by yourself because it is your actions which determine your punishment or reward. Okay, so if we just look at this paragraph here where it says the consequences, I'll just read that out. The consequences of a person's actions can be understood in different ways. First, through repeated actions, people develop habits. For example, if someone regularly acts with anger, they become an angry person. Anger is not a pleasant state, and so this leads to suffering. So that's the first thing. So if you're a continual angry person, I'm sure we all know people like this, or they are a bitter person, then that is, they are actually causing suffering on themselves because they're living permanently within that state of bitterness or within that state of anger, and that is causing them suffering, and that is an unskillful action. But also, also is that then your state of mind then leads to action. So if you know somebody who is a bitter person, then you know what sort of things that person is going to say about certain situations, because they'll just be really bitter about it. Or if you've got somebody who is always compassionate and caring, you know what they're going to say about it because they have a caring, compassionate mind, nature, um, and that leads more. That's a skillful action, and so there is basically the state of mind. Your state of mind leads to an action. Angry people shout, break things, beat the horn when driving, and create a situation where no one wants to be around them. This is karma. And so that causes suffering. So karma shows not that people are punished or rewarded for their actions, but by them. I want to say that again because that's so important to karma, and that is to Buddhism, and that is one thing that is very different to Christianity. Karma shows not that people are punished or rewarded for their actions. That is what happens in Christianity, but we are punished or rewarded by them. So now here we have a little bit about the wheel of life in Buddhism. And if you remember, we've got this in the classroom. There are 6 realms in there. You've got the gods, the ghosts, the hungry ghosts, the human realm, the animal realm, and so on. Okay, and so basically, according to Buddhist tradition, how you behave in this life will not just bring you suffering or happiness or reward in this life, but it will also have an effect, a consequence in terms of your next life. The karmic energy will then influence the next life. So if you are somebody who is very good and caring and compassionate, then you are more likely to be reborn in the human realm, because the human realm is higher up even than the realm of the gods, because you're more likely to get to nirvana through the human realm. If your actions are unskillful actions, which are causing you suffering in this life as well, it will also mean that in your next life, that maybe you will enter the realm of the hungry ghosts, or the animal realm. And so all of your actions have consequences, either good or bad. So now this is one thing, can be actually quite a freeing thing. I mean, you could actually say this is a really good thing because it's in our own hands. It's not in the hands of the gods. It's not in the lap of the gods. Might be a phrase that you've heard, but it's in our own hands. We can decide ourselves how we want to be. So the challenge, therefore, is as we reflect on our life, if we think that we are bitter, people or a bitter person, then we have a choice to either stay bitter, in which case the consequences, unskillful action, the consequences are going to be very negative, or we can choose through meditation, through practicing the Buddhist ethics, to get rid of that bitterness and cultivate a more compassionate, loving mindset. And these things in Buddhism, these things are possible to do. So it's within your hands. There is so that's why lots of people like Buddhism. You know, it is about you taking control of your life, you deciding how you want to be, and then you will either be rewarded by your actions or punished by your actions. But it's all about you. It's all about you can't blame anybody else, okay? Because we know the world is full of suffering, but it's how you react to that suffering that's really important. And what we're going to look at over the next couple of lessons are some of these Buddhist ethics, okay, the 5 precepts, the 6 perfections, and so on. But the concept of karma is central to Buddhism because your own behavior causes your happiness, and suffering is an incentive to cultivate a more skillful way of life. Now, if you're in a situation where somebody has done something really bad to you, and you hold really bad thoughts about that person, you want to get your revenge, you're really bitter towards that person. Now, that person might have gone on with their life and not think about what they've done to you. So they're fine. They're not getting any damage by how you are thinking. The only person who is being hurt by your thoughts of revenge and bitterness is yourself. Not only are you hurt now within your suffering now because you are being bitter now, but also with the consequences in your next life, there is going to be a negative consequence there as well. So, the concept of karma is incredibly important within in Buddhism. Okay, again, answer the activities there. Make some notes on all of this, but hopefully you begin to get, don't just try and remember it, but actually try and see why this could be actually really freeing and a positive thing for people to see that actually it's in their own hands. It's in your own hands. You can't control the world around you, but you can control how you react to the different things that happen around the world. And that is going to be skillful action or an unskillful action. Okay, so that's karma.